Hello again, PCQI, and welcome back to our All About Compliance channel. In this segment, we're going to be talking about a food fraud policy statement that is issued for review. So, shall we begin? Let's do this. Here we go again. And welcome back, PCQIs. So in this example, we've been given a food fraud policy statement from a supplier, and we're going to be dissecting it and kind of see what we learn or kind of challenge it based on their statement. Now, this particular supplier is coming from Hong Kong that's going to be importing their product into the United States. So with this part of it, this is what they wrote. The company basically recognizes the importance and necessity to protect our supply chain and consumers/customers from intentional adulteration. And they made some examples of that: substitution, concealment, mislabeling, dilution, counterfeiting, and others in our food products for economic gain. So that's good that they actually quoted it from the regulation for economic gains, right? So this company says they manage and takes the lead in protecting our products and supply chain from food fraud via our food fraud program. So we're going to want to see that program. They stated it, but they did not provide a copy. They provided a statement. So as a PCQI, we're going to want to take a look at what that preventive measures or preventive controls that they've implemented to comply with the food fraud requirement per FSMA. Prevention of food fraud is important to protect the health and safety of consumers, as well as to maintain the trust of our customers and stakeholders. So at that point on this one, on their food fraud, we're also going to take a look at how they make their detections, right, and their preventive measures. So because they stated it, we're going to want to take a look at how they do that to protect the health and safety of consumers. Or is it just a general statement? And if it's general, then we have to ask for general information for that. And then let's keep going. It says, we ensure that the leader of the program is appropriately qualified. So that means they have an FSVPQI. So we're going to want to ask for his or her certificate of training and make sure that training is based on what is recognized by FDA or by the Code of Federal Regulations stated on 21 CFR 117. All employees who have an impact on or affected by this policy are appropriately trained, and adequate resources are made available to implement this policy and program. Now that they've stated that, not only the FSVPQI is what we're going to look for on this under this food fraud program, also the employees that handles these. So we're going to want to take a look at, make sure there's no substitution in the line, and actually take a look at all of these things, from their personnel record file, so we can actually request those. We conduct regular food fraud vulnerability assessment to identify and assess potential vulnerability, both internal and external. So they made that statement in this policy statement that they are issuing us. So we're going to then take a look at the vulnerability assessment of their raw materials. Remember, they're supplying you, right? Or in this case, I'll wear the hat. I'm being supplied by this supplier. So I'm going to do a vulnerability assessment against them, make sure they were not a part of a fraud and the material that they are supplying me. But if it's a finished product, based on their statement that they are complying on the vulnerability assessment, so I want to see their ingredient deck in this event, and then take a look at those ingredients or raw materials, make sure those assessments have been performed. We're also going to identify their detection methods. Are they testing for these? Or are they just stating it? Are they doing on-site audit? Make sure there's no fraud or, verification or validation of their preventive measures. We conduct regular food fraud vulnerability assessment to identify and assess potential vulnerability, both internal and external. We have also developed a documented food fraud mitigation plan. There you go. There's the mitigation plan to mitigate or eliminate identified vulnerabilities. We're going to want to see how they do that, okay? So as a PCQI, don't just take the face value of statements. We need to challenge those because they've stated it. They said it, they need to prove it, okay? The program is also reviewed at least annually or when there are significant changes in our supply chain. So now we're going to take a look at those annual review, make sure they are being performed and it's just not blah, 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 okay? So there we go. Let me see here. In the event where additional materials are included in our food or food products during the production process, prevailing regulations are followed and customers are informed appropriately. So they are making deviation on their manufacturing process. And it's nice that they own up to that and make sure we get the notices necessary when that is being performed or those events are happening. And make sure our customer requirements, in this case, I'm being supplied. So guess what? I want to make sure that those deviation or changes in my formulation or recipe or manufacturing process, I am notified on it. Then I need to get those verified, right, or validated that those are happening. That's kind of nice that they said that. So that's a plus. Okay. At each operational site, the management there is responsible for implementing and maintaining the food fraud policy program. So they have multiple sites. So because they said at each operational site, so we're gonna have to take a look at each facility that they have that's coming in. So if this is a broker, as a PCQI, you're gonna need to wanna know the origin of these products that you are, or these raw materials that you are accepting into your process. So he or she has multiple operational sites. So you're gonna wanna do this in every raw materials, okay? So in every separational of function per se, okay? The implementation of the policy and program must comply with prevailing local regulation, quality management system, and food safety schemes that we subscribe to. But they did not say what those are. Are they ISO certified, ISO facility? Are they GFSI facility, like an SQF, a BRC, an FSSC 22000, or IFS and others? Those were not stated, okay? Let me see here. In the event of discrepancy, the more conservative approach must take precedence. What are those conservative approach? So we're gonna want those listed, for this. So this is kind of a deep dive on their statement now. They said it, now they gotta prove it. So let me end it there. It's basically signed by the CEO, president of the company, and dated on the date that was issued. So anyways, let me end the video there, PCQIs. Hopefully that tidbit helped out. Till then, have a great day, stay strong, and see you later. Bye for now. Contact us. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thanks again, PCQIs. Have a good one.